Video 255. Senior transportation options. When you can no longer drive. Giving up the keys is one of the hardest transitions in retirement, but losing your ability to drive doesn't have to mean losing your independence. There are more transportation options for seniors today than most people realize, and putting a plan together before you need it makes the transition far less painful. Public and paratransit options. Most public transit systems offer reduced senior fares, and many cities run paratransit services specifically for older adults and people with disabilities. Door-to-door van service, often at a fraction of the cost of a taxi that you schedule a day or more in advance. Availability and quality vary a lot by location, so it's worth researching your specific city or county's program well before you need it, rather than scrambling to figure it out after a driving decision has already been forced. Rideshare services built for non-drivers. Standard rideshare apps like Uber and Lyft work fine for many seniors, but a growing number of services are specifically designed for older adults who don't want to navigate a smartphone app. Some let a family member schedule and pay for rides on your behalf remotely, or let you book by phone call instead of an app. Several Medicare Advantage plans now include a set number of free non-emergency medical transportation rides as a supplemental benefit, which can meaningfully cut costs for doctor visits specifically. Community and volunteer driver programs. Many area agencies on aging, faith communities, and local nonprofits run volunteer driver programs, connecting seniors with vetted volunteer drivers for medical appointments, grocery trips, and errands, often free or for a small suggested donation. These programs are less well-known than rideshare apps but are often more personal and flexible, especially for seniors who need help carrying groceries or navigating a doctor's office, not just a ride from point A to point B. Having the conversation about giving up driving. For many families, the transportation logistics turn out to be easier to solve than the emotional conversation that has to happen first. If you're the one raising the concern with a parent or spouse, focus on specific observed incidents rather than general worry, and frame the conversation around independence rather than restriction. The goal is making sure they can still get everywhere they need to go, just differently. If you're the one facing this transition yourself, know that the loss of driving is a genuine loss worth acknowledging, not just a logistics problem to solve efficiently. Giving yourself permission to grieve it a little tends to make the practical adjustment easier, not harder. Planning the transition before it's forced. The hardest version of this conversation happens in a crisis, after a near miss or a family intervention. The easier version happens years in advance while you're still driving but starting to notice the writing on the wall. Map out what a week without a car would actually look like: groceries, medical appointments, social visits, worship, and the small errands that fill daily life. Test one or two of the services above while you still have driving as a backup, so switching over later feels like a known routine instead of an unknown leap. Combining options, rather than picking just one. Very few people replace driving with a single alternative. Most end up with a small combination that covers different needs. A volunteer driver program might handle recurring medical appointments, a family-scheduled rideshare might cover the unpredictable errand, and a weekly senior center shuttle might take care of the standing social outing. Mapping your specific weekly routine against 2 or 3 complementary services rather than searching for one option to replace driving entirely tends to produce a far more workable and resilient plan. So as we wrap up, here's the real takeaway. Giving up driving is a major life transition, but it doesn't have to mean giving up independence. Today's transportation options, public transit, paratransit, rideshare services built for seniors, volunteer driver programs, and even Medicare Advantage transportation benefits, can keep you connected to your community, your appointments, and your daily routines. The hardest part is rarely the logistics, it's the emotions. But planning early, testing options before you need them, and building a mix of services that fit your life can make this transition far smoother and far less stressful. Now here's your improved call to action. If driving has started to feel stressful, unsafe, or uncertain for you or for someone you love, take one step this week. Look up your local senior transportation options. Check your city's paratransit program, call your area agency on aging, or test a rideshare service while you still have driving as a backup. Planning now before a crisis forces the issue makes all the difference later and helps preserve independence rather than restrict it. Thanks for spending this time with me today. If this helped you feel more prepared, feel free to join me for more videos like this. And remember, independence doesn't end when driving does. It just takes a new form. I'll see you in the next one.